This is Nebraska. We're an agricultural state. 92% of Nebraska's land area is farm and ranch land. That means the other 8% is divided between urban areas and wilderness. In some ways, we can think of Nebraska as a giant farm. With so much of Nebraska's land in production, there's been a loss of habitat for wildlife. The monarch butterflies are case in point. Nebraska is on the path for the eastern migration of the monarch, and our state hosts crucial monarch breeding sites. Nebraska supports 17 different species of milkweed, which is the only host plant for the monarch caterpillar. Because the monarch is migratory, Nebraska works like a link in a long chain running from Mexico to Canada, and if one link is weak, the whole chain can break. Nebraska's link needs to be strong, not just for the monarch, but for other species as well. Going forward, we need solutions that benefit Nebraska's farmers and Nebraska's wildlife. One possible solution is precision agriculture. Every farm has low-yield and high-yield areas. In precision ag, we take the low-yielding areas out of production. We stop sinking money where it has no return, and we focus all our energy into maximizing production in high-yield areas. At the same time, we convert those low-yield areas into habitat and maximize the viability of this habitat to make every acre the best that it can be for a whole range of species. This is an example of a high-yielding corn crop versus a low-yielding corn crop. Here's a diagram of a 180-acre corn farm. The green area is high yield and the red area is low yield. After the cost of seeding, maintaining, and harvesting, the total profit at year's end is around $8,000. Now let's say that this farmer takes the 25 lowest yielding acres and converts them into habitat. Their total expenses go down by 9%, but the yield, because these were low yielding areas, decreases by only 2%. At year's end, this farmer makes around $15,000, decreasing their workload and nearly doubling their profit. If someone has an acreage and is interested in converting all or some of it into habitat, luckily there are people who have come before us and have discovered some of the best, most efficient practices for converting these lands into habitat. Creating habitat comes in 3 parts, and we call these the 3 pillars of habitat design. The first is site preparation. In terms of site prep, you'll either be planting into existing grass or into crop stubble like corn or soy stubble. Planting into the stubble is easier, as the plants tend to establish themselves quicker. But if you're planting into already established grass, you have 3 options: a fall spraying with a glyphosate agent, a controlled burn, or tilling. Burning or spraying has the added benefit of keeping the dead grass intact, which can be very helpful and act like a mulch when you go to plant your habitat. The second thing we focus on is our seed mixture. We want a wide variety of shapes, sizes, and colors to attract and sustain a wide variety of species. Many flowers bloom in the months of June and July, but we want to make sure that we plant flowers that bloom throughout the entire growing season. A minimum of 50% of our seed mix should be flowering plants. We should have a minimum of 40 different species, and at least one of these should be a milkweed species. We want plants that will come up early in spring to fight out encroaching weeds. Clover can be a great solution here. It will show up early, it'll be valuable to pollinators, and it will help fight out weeds. So the size of seeds in your mixture will vary, which means that planting depth will also vary. Sometimes direct sowing can actually produce the best results, and because many seeds require dormant action, sowing in the fall gives them the freeze-thaw period that they need in order to germinate in the spring. The last piece here, the third pillar, is management. We want to make sure that we're doing a little each year to maintain our habitat. That means controlling for weeds and grasses and making sure that what we planted is in fact growing. If you want to establish a habitat, you won't be alone. There are a lot of resources available. Here are just a few places you can go to get started. farmersformonarchs.org, conservationblueprint.com, and Monarch Gardens at monarchguard.com. Thank you for watching and for doing your part to protect all life, big and small.